Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's gonna be a pretty fun day. As you might see, today is the red team. Today we're gonna be talking about the Nintendo Switch OLED. Yes, I've been waiting for this to arrive since the beginning because there wasn't any stock since the beginning of when it was introduced. So today's finally it. So I'm gonna be talking about what upgrades is it really bringing, and is there any physical upgrades or is there any internal upgrades. I'm gonna be covering it all in this video. Make sure you get subscribed for any other stuff like this. They're gonna be banged up items like these that are gonna be coming out soon, so make sure you get subscribed for that. Now let's get on to unboxing these stuff. Start by unboxing the OGest of all of these. This right here is the Nintendo Switch 2017, and this is the most oldest Switch there has ever been. So this was pretty good at its time because this could play 720p, 60Hz refresh rate just in the display, and you can play on go. That was mostly the selling factor of these. And yes, this is the Nintendo Switch itself. And these are its two Joy-Cons that you get with it. It is a neon blue and red version, so that's pretty great. And another thing too you can notice is this. These are pretty much, you could play multiplayer with these if you want to. So basically you just do that, and that's it. It becomes your own Joy-Con. So that is pretty great too. And another thing is this. This is the dock of this. So the dock is pretty awesome too. So basically this is not only handheld console, you can also connect it to your TV. But the only bad thing was that it had no Ethernet port, which is kind of bad. Other than that, it's basically a dock. You have your HDMI up here and your AC adapter. And that's pretty much it. And if you go deeper, this is the Joy-Con connector. Basically, you could connect your Joy-Cons into this, which it was pretty great. So you could make this into a mini controller, like I'm doing right here. So this is basically a controller now. So you could basically just make this into a controller. Let's put this aside for a second. Another thing that you might get is this. This is the USB Type-C connector that that helps you to charge your stuff. And this is another multiplayer connector, so to make your Joy-Cons into two. So that's not what we need. This is the Nintendo Switch, and yeah, and you also get an HDMI cable for it. So that's pretty much it about the Nintendo Switch console unboxing. Now let's go on to the next one. This is another console that came out after the Nintendo Switch from 2017 came out. So this was probably, I'm thinking it was from 2019, I'm not sure, but that was where it's from. So basically, it is a pretty straightforward packaging because this doesn't have a dock. And it basically doesn't have a HDMI cable or any Joy-Cons, because this is what's special about this. This doesn't have Joy-Con drift because this basically has its Joy-Cons attached to it, which basically makes sense. And also, it doesn't have a kickstand, but it does have a memory card slot. It's right here, and yeah, that's pretty much it about it. And inside this, it's an AC adapter, Type-C port 2. So this is basically it. It's the same charger that you get for any other Nintendo console. Now, we're done unboxing this. Now, all we have left to do unboxing is for this. This is the big boy. So this is basically the same console with just few upgrades, which we're going to be talking about after we get through this box. So this is smaller packaging compared to the 2017 Nintendo Switch, and I did, wow. Okay, basically, long story short, these are the white controllers, those Joy-Cons, and this is the OLED itself. And let's put that aside, and this is where we need to dig in. You do get a user manual in that, and this is also a big improvement because this is a white dock. It depends on what color you buy, and yeah, I bought the white one. And yes, this has improved cable management compared to the other one, and that's right here. So if you see it, yeah, it is improved, and I will show you a better glance at it. This other thing that it has is an Ethernet port right here. I'm pretty sure you can't see it because my camera can't capture it because it's pretty much all black. And this is a HDMI out, and also it has an AC adapter. So the big upgrade right here is probably the Ethernet adapter. Without, you can just basically connect your Ethernet without an adapter. And if you just dig into a lot more, it's just the same multiplayer Joy-Con attachment. If you have like, so you can have like 2 players. And this is the same USB Type-C charger that you get in every Nintendo console. And yeah, this is the Joy-Con connector. So yeah, pretty much the same stuff except those. So let's put unboxings to the side. So these right here are all the Nintendo Switch consoles you might have ever seen. So currently my Lite version of it is charging, so I can't play with it right now, but it's pretty much the same experience. First, let's talk about what ports it has and what other stuff this has that you might be interested in. Now let's go over the ports. This has almost all the ports that you need. This has an headphone jack, the game card, and also this, the volume rocker with the power button, and basically all the Joy-Con controls. It also has a micro SD card slot over here, also a USB Type-C port. That is all about the Nintendo Switch Lite. Now let's go over to this. This right here is the Nintendo Switch 2017. Pretty much the same thing, the fan vent, the headphone jack, and the game card slot, and a power button with its volume rockers. And you might be seeing that these are similar with these, and indeed it is. It is also same for the Nintendo Switch OLED too. It's exactly the same layout with some redesigns. Okay, now we saw all the ports and what it has so, but now let's talk about the physical specs of these. So all these right here, including the Lite, have a 720p 60Hz refresh rate panel inbuilt, but the only difference that these have is an OLED. So physically speaking, the Lite version of it, the Nintendo Switch Lite, has a smaller screen than the LCD version from 2017. But the big improvements that I can say are from this. This right here is the Nintendo Switch OLED. Even though they do have I would say they are the same size, but let me just compare real quick. So yeah, okay, so these are the same size. So basically where the difference comes is in the panel. So this is an OLED panel, it says it in the name, and this is an LCD panel. Not only that, this thing has huger bezels than its screen itself. So big joke on you, Nintendo. So this right here is the OLED, where you can see the bezels are shrinked. So if you compare to this, they are so small. And this thing, I don't even have to say, because this is like very smaller display physically compared to this. So that's pretty much about this. So basically, let's talk about the price ranges of these. This comes with $350, and this right here, the 2017 version of it, comes with $300, and this is $350, and the other one, the smallest, the Lite version of it, comes from $200. So basically, you might think this is cheap, but you do lose a lot of stuff. But one good thing is that it doesn't have Joy-Con drift, but let's say what we lose here. So you don't have a docking station, so that basically means that you don't get a 1080p 60Hz refresh rate experience that you might get on these two by connecting them to your external monitor or something like that. I will be showing if there is any difference while connecting to an external display or something, but before that, let's talk about the Lite. So basically that's pretty much it. And if you want to go with storage, this thing, OLED version, has twice the storage as these two have. These two right here, the Nintendo Switch Lite and the original OG Nintendo Switch, have 32 gigs of storage, while this has 64 gigs of storage, which is pretty sweet. I mean, the way that this can archive your memory, it's just pretty great. It would be enough. This wouldn't be enough. I wouldn't say 32 gigs is just not so much, because you install one AAA game and that's it, you're done. So yeah, that's pretty much it about this. And the docking station is also pretty good. As I told you, this docking station of OLEDs has Ethernet port, while this doesn't. But does it support the same stuff? I mean, if you had accessories for this, would it support this? Of course it does. If you had Joy-Cons from your older Nintendo Switch, your new Joy-Cons or your old Joy-Cons are interchangeable like this. This is the OLED Joy-Con that I'm fixing it to the LCD. So they would automatically pair, as you just see. And yeah, your older Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons would also easily just be paired with this. Just like that, and yeah, you basically have a neon red and blue Joy-Cons for your OLED thing. But let's talk about which one you should buy in the last, but first let's see how it does while playing games on it. Today is going to be pretty fun because we are going to be playing 2 games to test how this works. So basically your Nintendo accessories, everything is interchangeable, which is great about Nintendo. So basically your old Joy-Con connector works with the new Joy-Cons, which is basically same thing. But yeah, you know, it's pretty sweet to hear about that. And another good thing is that you could easily multiplayer in this. So yeah, that would be pretty great if you ask me. Okay, long story short, I am in Minecraft, and I might have just hid in here. So other than that, basically, it is a pretty good gameplay. So I think this more looks like a mobile version of Minecraft. So yeah, it does, but it does load in a lot more chunks than a mobile. It doesn't get overheated. So yeah, it's pretty good. If you're on mobile, yeah, this would feel pretty fluid to you like I am, because I play on Minecraft Pocket Edition, which is basically Bedrock, but more on, you know, mobile kind of thing. So yeah, that's pretty much about it. And yes, these two both give out pretty much the same thing. So this casts up to 1080p, 60 Hz refresh rate, and the same with this. So basically, and basically like connecting to your monitor wouldn't really bring a great change. But hey, here's this to you. If you have a Nintendo Switch Lite and you are trying to upgrade to this, that would make more sense. But before we get into that, let's talk about these. These have kickstands, which are better now, because this is the kickstand from the new Nintendo Switch, and that just goes like that. And this here, on the other hand, is Trasher kickstand with very smaller kickstand right there. So basically it's very easier to just strip it, but this right here doesn't go that way. You see that? It just moves. It never goes like that. Whereas in this, I'll show it to you again, basically just goes, wow, it's just dead. So yeah, that is pretty bad if you ask me. So that is a big improvement right here. So in others, there are just a lot of things you can just say. But here's the thing. You've seen all the specs. You've seen everything, and I will talk about it a lot more after I get another game going called Zelda. Now, I'm playing Zelda Breath of the Wild in this. This right here is a Nintendo Switch 2017. So yeah, this is basically the same thing as I've told you, just with the kickstand upgrade and the screen. And yeah, it's very easy. So this is an OLED dock, and this is the old Nintendo Switch. Basically, they're interchangeable. You could just put that in there. It doesn't really matter what version of OLED you have, like a Nintendo Switch you have, basically is the same thing. So yeah, pretty much same thing, but I don't want to play Zelda right now, so I'll just get to the conclusion. So this right here is the lowest Nintendo Switch you can get. This is $200, and this doesn't have Joy-Con drift if you're into that, but also this doesn't have a kickstand. But it does have stereo speakers, which is awesome. So if you really don't care about connecting to an external monitor or something, this is for you, because honestly, this doesn't have a big notch compared to the older Nintendo Switch 2017 like this. But I would still consider it as a notch. But if you want something larger like this, but you don't have a Nintendo Switch at all, I would recommend you to buy this one, because it's just additional 50 bucks, and you also get 64 gigs of memory with a better display. So yes, it is pretty good if you ask me. That's pretty much about this, and it does have a better kickstand, so that would also be helpful. So $350 for this is worth it. But if you have a 2017 Nintendo Switch rocking in your house just like that, I wouldn't really say you need to buy this because it's just a waste of money. Because unless you sell your old Nintendo Switch for something like $250 or something, it's pretty much the worst deal you can get. Because it's really not those many upgrades. You don't get upgrades in your processor. All of these Nintendo Switch still have the same Tegra, custom Tegra processor made from NVIDIA, which basically gives out same horsepower no matter what you're in, and inbuilt displays, it's pretty much the same thing. They all are 60Hz refresh rate limited, and they all are 720p, which sucks. But another good thing that they all have stereo speakers, which is pretty good for gaming. And other than that, I wouldn't really say anything else. It's all up to you what you need to buy. If you really are going for a Nintendo Switch OLED and you have a Nintendo Switch, I would recommend you to sell this one and get it. Or you just have two brothers or something, you just need two consoles. This is a pretty much good upgrade for your sibling. And yeah, pretty much that's it. So make sure you get subscribed for watching my other video where I will compare the Nintendo Switch OLED versus the Xbox Series S. It is gonna be good comparison because they both come in the same price range. Which one should you buy? So yeah, that's it for this week, guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and also smash a like for this video if you like it. And yeah, that's pretty much it about this great comparison, and I hope I covered everything. I still think I missed a lot always, but hey, if you have any comments or concerns, just put that comments below.